The Dustmen believe we are already dead, that Sigil and the planes are where we all end up after we die. According to their beliefs, everything is dead and this existence is a false one. To keep any ties or feelings for this existence only prevents a soul from truly dying. I like the Dustmen as a faction as well. I'm intrigued. Continue to listen. You see, the Dustmen believe that death in this existence is a matter of degree, and only those who are truly dead and have divested themselves of all ties to this existence can hope to be at peace. A philosophy that has some basis in fact, but much of it bears further examination. Yeah, that's what I think as well. I don't dislike the Dustmen, they can believe whatever they want, but for me, to follow such a philosophy, I would have to, true death should be proven. Like, they should prove that this life is not the real life, not the real one, you know? Especially since there are so many factions that believe so many different things. About the Harmonium. The Harmonium is devoted to peace and harmony throughout the planes, thus their name. They believe that the end justifies the means, however, and so are willing to do just about anything to get a fellow to see things their way, regardless of one's personal opinion of them. They do a fine job of policing Sigil streets. Really? They did not seem that much competent to me in handling some things. I'm not interested in their factions. The Mercy Killers. The Mercy Killers believe that justice is everything. Mali, in their last facto, once said that when properly applied, punishment leads to perfection. I partially agree with that, but you have to be sure you're punishing the right people now, do you? He continues, those new to Sigil oft-times commit the error of thinking their name implies that they kill out of mercy. Rather though, it is that they seek to kill mercy itself. The faction members take it upon themselves to punish the guilty of Sigil whatever the cost. Well, that's a vocation. Mercy sometimes leads to horrible things happening. And, well, it depends. Mercy is sometimes good, and sometimes you need, a stronger hand to resolve some matters. Mercy can be dangerous as much as, being unmerciful. That's a little bit, that's too extreme of a faction. They don't seem like to be thinking much. What about this Revolutionary League?
Updated my journal.
They are also called they are the anarchists? Not many know this, but the Revolutionary League is actually quite widespread in Sigil, and a shame that is too. They hold the misguided belief that all institutions have been established to block their access to the truth of the multiverse. Well, they might be right too. They might be right too. If institutions are manipulated by higher powers that, want everybody to think the same things and stuff like that, then maybe they're right. Depends. Not all societies are good, inherently good. The only way they see to discover the truth is to tear down all organization. They claim that the truth can only be discovered when people are completely free. He shakes his head. I often wish that they would open their eyes to the truth around them. They do nothing but blind themselves and block everyone's access to the truth. Well, if they want freedom for psychopaths and killers as well, then yeah, they should be eradicated. Depends what kind of freedom they want to. If they free everybody, then they need some kind of order to organize that freedom. That's very important. if organizations become bad, then they have to be teared down, but then you need to put another order in place, maybe a better one. If they don't have ideas for a new order, they're just useless. He doesn't like them much. I don't particularly care, as long as they don't gain power, I suppose, because I wouldn't want everybody to be free of doing whatever they want. That's that could be dangerous. He gives a long sigh, then wags his finger disapprovingly, as if talking to some imaginary bad child. It is interesting to note. I just said this. It is interesting to note that they have no real plans for seeking the truth past tearing down everything that they can see. Very interesting need. Yeah, that's what I don't understand. Because I may partially agree with what they want. It is also of interest that while the Revolutionary League has a large number of members, the very nature of their faction causes these members to work counter to each other's interests, of course. That's logically what would happen. Often cells fight amongst each other, and one claiming to know the proper way to go about tearing everything down. Yeah, of course that would happen. But they are an interesting faction. What about the Society of Sensation? The Society of Sensation. They are one of the most prominent. I think we already talked about this. Okay, we have already talked about this. What about the Chaos Detect?
Updated my journal.
Heroes, rabble-rousers. Not a proper faction at all. That raggedy bunch. Why, even the Revolutionary League is more organized. The Chaos Detects think that by embracing chaos they'll somehow discover the secrets of the multiverse. A ridiculous notion. Yeah, I kind of agree. Is there any work available locally? And none of the temporary sort, no. Tell me about the Lady of Pain. Lady of Pain, yes, she's the force behind Sigil, you know, very impressive figure, but little is known about her. What is known about her? He begins ticking off the points on his fingers. 1. She's not just a symbol of Sigil, as some claim. She's very real and very dangerous. 2. She is believed to be the one that keeps the powers, deities, out of Sigil. As long as she's present, the powers cannot enter Sigil. 3. She also prevents unauthorized teleporting and gating into and out of Sigil. It prevents the outer planes creatures from bringing even more of their kind to Sigil outside of the conventional routes. 4. She has never spoken to anyone. 5. She usurped the control of Sigil from Oscar, a power now believed dead. Prevents unauthorized teleporting. So what about all the portals? Are they all regulated then? Or are we, when you enter a portal, you are not following the law? What? 6. Anyone who threatens Sigil or her is punished, either by falling beneath her shadow, which results in a series of invisible stab wounds that can kill even greater Batezu, or by being sent to the mazes, from whence few ever escape. Somebody did come back? 7. She does not like to be worshipped. Those that do are often found with their skin missing. I like the fact that she does not want to be worshipped. She seems like I don't know, what's the word I was searching for, like no fuss kind of lady. And lastly, the sight of her is believed to drive others mad. Why? she stole control of Sigil from a power. How do you know this? I think I know this as well because somebody told me. It is the belief of my order. Oh! You said you'd said that the sight of her drives people mad? Yes, he ponders it for a moment, but I must add, Dekavit, that I have never seen her, you understand? Yeah. I like how you think. She stated a point, and then he stated a point, and then he stated that that point has not been verified, not at least by him. So he's giving me an information, but he's saying to me to not take it seriously either. So your order believes that she stole power from another god. I wonder what happened there. So how is it that you know she created Sigil? The belief of my order. Okay, so we are done with this. I've already answered this. What's outside of Sigil? No one knows, and it is not from want of trying. At the places where no true wall exists are solid walls of buildings with no windows that look beyond. Some claim to have climbed the roofs and seen the outside of Sigil, but they can only describe the outside as nothing. My god, that should be a sight to behold. He continues. That is an unacceptable explanation, but it still remains a mystery. It is rumored without fact that to step beyond Sigil's walls takes the traveler to a random plane. But this has not been confirmed. The Fraternity of Order has mounted many expeditions, and we have yet to retrieve concrete information. Well, thank you for the talk. You've been very helpful. What about Nemel here? This tall, slender woman sipping wine from a small ceramic cup appears to be looking for someone. Her facial features are elegantly exotic, and the woman's ears, though partially covered by her long hair, can be seen to come to sharp points. Alright. The woman turns to face you, violet eyes flashing like flawless chips of amethyst. Her speech is as music. You can hear a faint musical tinkling. 100 tiny crystal bells as she speaks. Each word lingers in your ears as if they were unwilling to relinquish the exquisite sound. Nemel turned to face the scarred, dour stranger. She asked what he wished of her. Wow. Yeah, I mean, is she talking in third person? Pah. Anna sneers at Morte. Stop your drooling, your leering scarf. Okay, alright. There's this going on. My, what a hot-blooded little cheat. Starved for attention? I could drool over you too if you're just jealous. Morte starts floating towards Anna, making wet, slavering noises. How can he do that? I ship you. You two guys, Morte and Anna, go ahead. Get a hair's breadth closer, Scar, and I'll see to it that not one of your chattering teeth lies within 100 paces of another. Morte stops abruptly, turning away while muttering unintelligibly. Ah! You're Nemel. I was told you know the command word for this decanter. Yeah, now I remember the head in the catacombs told us something about a certain girl, Nemel, right? The woman makes no move to touch or examine the decanter, but only speaks. Nemel took it from the stranger, turning it in her hands. Had she seen it like before, she thought. Perhaps. Yes, she remembered now. She returned the decanter, whispering into his ear as she did so.
Updated my journal.
You realize you know the word now. Nil de Nosage, though you're certain the woman never whispered to you, but merely said she did. She blinks at you. Would the stranger leave her now, satisfied with what she had told him? Are you looking for someone? That's so rude. Where could she be? Nemel wondered. Her companion, Elwyn, was supposed to have met her here days ago. The woman sighs miserably. The air around her grows chill with her sadness. How long must she search this vast foreign city before she finds her dearest friend? Oh, what does she look like? Nemel clasps her hands together and bows her head to you. She would be so pleased to hear news of her friend. She told the kind stranger what Elwyn looked like, so that he would know her should he come across her. An image forms in your mind, a woman who resembles Nemel, but with golden eyes and a hair of fiery crimson.
Updated my journal.
Well, I'll see what I can do with that. These are our patrons. This is a drunken mage. This older man is staring into his stein of ale. Oh my god, I'm sorry. That needed to come out. Misery etched into his feature. The battered pewter mug is an unusual one, lightly engraved with strange runes and bearded faces, and covered with a coat of thin frost. He looks up as you approach him. Greetings, sir. He seems slightly tipsy. Something wrong? He sighs, belches into his hand, and nods as he takes another pull of ale. Aye, something's wrong, all right. I've gone and lost my apprenticeship. Well, hungover I was and botched my mentor's last experiment, all for this damn drink. He sneers at the mug in his hand, but in seconds his expression softens and he takes another swig. Ruins everything it does, this damnable drinking of mine. Why don't you stop drinking then?
Updated my journal.
He shrugs and sighs miserably. I simply cannot. I want to, but I cannot. I just need to drink. I try and stay away, but desire eventually overcomes me and I cannot resist. Such a wreck I've become. He throws back the last of his ale and calls for more. Yeah, okay. If you're too weak to stop, it's your own fault. I don't think I even care for that. To say something like that. I think I see would be the real answer. What's that mug you've got over there? This? He looks down at the pewter mug. I want this in a dice game. It's enchanted to keep whatever's in it freezing cold. In my case, cheap ale, he frowns, rubs at his eyes and takes another swig of his drink. That's an interesting mug. Alright, let's move on. I was thinking things, another one of these. Should we go in here? Advocate's house. Oh.
All right.
Wow. Very nice little house with a very huge study as it
I'm here. Why not?
would be expected, and books, lots of them. I don't see anything. This is a solid crystal tank with several fish frozen inside. Frozen! This is a beautiful silver mirror. Maybe that's his freezer. What do I know? This man is dressed in soft blue robes covered with intricate designs. Despite their opulence, however, the robes look wrinkled and worn. You place the man's age somewhere between middle age and early 60s. The lines make an exact determination difficult. As you enter, the man turns slowly towards you. As he does, you are suddenly struck with the terrible sense that you know this man, or did at one time. Okay. Greetings. The man squints as if trying to place you. Yes, is there something that I can help you with? Who are you?
Updated my journal.
I am Yanis. He studies you and frowns. Were you looking for me? Kind of, and not? I don't know. What is this place? I am an advocate. These are my offices. Yanis' voice takes on an irritated edge. Do you seek counsel? If not, perhaps you at best test your curiosity elsewhere. Yeah, I understand. I just want to know if you're what I think you are, an advocate. What's that?
Updated my journal.
Morte breaks in with a whisper. He's saying he's a lawyer, a counselor, one of those Bergs who rattle their bone boxes at the courts. All right. Yanis' frowns deepens. An advocate provides counsel, helps others navigate the labyrinth of Sigil's legal system, arranges legacies for citizens to ensure that their property is divided as they choose upon death. It's basically an attorney, right? Defends those in Sigil's courts who have been wrongly accused, and also not wrongly accused, right? He pauses. Did you need help in any of these areas? Legacies. What about counsel? Very well, what is it that I can help you with? Excuse me for asking, but are you alright? You must excuse me, as of late I have been beset by troubles. I'm afraid it has been a rather trying time, these past few years. What troubles? Yanis sighs. I do not wish to burden you. I lost my daughter not long ago. There was also the fire, but that is another matter. What about your daughter? Instantly, Yanis seems to collapse into himself. Yes, his business-like facade drains from his face, to be replaced with cold despair. My daughter, Deionara, oh my god, passed away some time ago. Tell me about her. What was she like? Deionara, she was young. She had recently joined the Society of Sensation, the Sensates. Not an unpleasant faction, but she had also met someone there. She followed him on a journey, and there she died. He looks pained. I was not even able to recover her body. I'm not giving myself out. You say she was a sensei?
Updated my journal.
Yes, he becomes slightly more animated, as if warming himself on a precious memory. She had joined them because of her gift, and the fact there was so much about the multiverse that she wanted to experience. The sensates lend themselves readily to the sharing of experience and sensation. Gift.
Updated my journal.
Oh yes. Yanis nods. My daughter had the blood of an oracle running in her veins, but it was an unreliable talent. At times she could predict events before they took place. She had sight. She could see through time itself, sift through the threads of fate. Okay. Do you know anything about this man she journeyed with? Little. I barely even knew of his existence until she had departed. By then it was too late to have known him. Do you know where she went? She never said. I am not certain she was capable of saying where they had gone. It must have been a terrible place. How did she die? I do not know. Her body was never recovered. Yannis' face turns blood red and his hands clench into fists. And that is perhaps the most maddening part of this misery. I will never know what possessed her to run off like that, what happened to her, nor where her body lies now. Forgive me for asking, but how do you know she's dead if you never saw the body? It is most curious. I went to the dustmen to see if they had found her body, and they directed me to one of their faction outside the dustman monument, a dustman named Death of Names, I believe. He's said to be an oracle of sorts concerning those who have died. He told me my daughter had died, so her name is on the written on the stone. Tell me about this fire. There is nothing much to say about the matter. It was a strange, localized fire. I cannot imagine what would have been precious in the documents that were burned, but someone must have wanted them destroyed. Did you locate the person responsible? No, neither the Harmonium nor the Mercy Killers have had any fortune in locating the person responsible. They don't, right? What was burned? A number of old legacies were burned, and some mementos and other keepsakes of value only to me. Legacies? They are contracts that are deliverable at the death of the client. They provide specifics on how a person's possessions are to be divided upon the event of their demise. I've also heard them called wills. Alright. Are they anything like dustman contracts? No, they're not. Oh my, no. The dustman contracts, while they are deliverable at the time of the client's death, bequeath the client's body to the dustman. Not a pleasant business at all. But some who are poor of means find the dustman contract to be a means of support. I can ask him about invalidating dustman contracts.
Updated my journal.
He frowns slightly. One that is already signed, little or nothing can be done once the signature is in place. The dustman contract is quite specific on the destination of the corpse after death. Without the destruction of the contract, there is really nothing that could be done. Well then, I did good. What about the fire? A little bit more? No. Okay. Have we met before? The man studies you for a moment, frowning in thought. The wrinkles on his face become more pronounced as he does so, and you are again struck by the toll that age seems to have placed on him. No. Yet you seem familiar. Yet. He continues to study your features, then shakes his head. I will concede that there is something familiar about you, sir, and I apologize for any insult my failing memory may be giving you at this moment. I have been preoccupied for some time now. Have we met before? I think so, baby. I can't really remember. Frustrating for us both, it would seem. Yeah. You know, I saw a woman by that name interred in the mortuary memorial hall. Yes, I arranged for a bier to be placed in the memorial hall. There is no body there, of course, but I hoped the bier would serve as a marker by which she may find her way home. Okay. Should I tell him about her spirit? It worked. Her spirit resides there now. What? Yanis looks flustered. What did you just say? And nothing. I misspoke. Perhaps there is something else you can help me with. Why don't I want to tell him? I don't know why I'm not telling him. I will go around for a bit and think about this.
All right.
I'm sorry, man.
I'm gone.
Down below. Is this a house or something? Doesn't look like it has an entrance. Fine. Oh, hello. I can't really see you very well. Wow, that was good. Whoever delivered that. You will pike off quick if you know what's good for you. I'm going to get into this house. This guy has lost something.
All right.
What's that? What's that? Interact with it. No, you don't want to. Tell me, why don't you
I'm
want
gone.
to? Linguist's ashes. There is an urn atop this small cabinet full of ashes and charred bits of bone. Etched into the base of the urn are the words Fin Andlai, beloved husband, father and scholar of 100 languages. Use stories bones to tell? Bones tell? Wait a second. Give me one moment. Let's talk with the Finam, the linguist, first. This short, scholarly man, a tight, nervous frown on his face, looks you up and down. Greetings, I am Finam. I must beg your pardon, sir, but I care little for guests, invited or otherwise, so unless you've business with me, I would ask you to leave. I would have you know that I am a scholar and a linguist. Sir, while I shall happily entertain any questions regarding my field of study, language and the like, I can be of no help to you in other matters. Okay. I'll talk with this then. The ashes seem to stir faintly as if moved by your breath. A faraway voice whispers up from within the urn. Why? Why have I been summoned to these ashes, cold and grey as the heart of a hug? I don't know. Ask then, so that I might return to my most quiet thoughts. Who were you? I was Finn, a linguist and scholar. I was murdered. Murdered! By a student of mine, murdered so that I could not teach another the language that I taught him. The tongue of the Uyo it was, one of the rarest in the multiverse. I knew of none who spoke it, save myself and that one damnable murderous student.
You know, it wouldn't kill you to say a few words to me, fiendling. Or hug me. Or kiss me.
Apparently we got what we wanted with these ashes. Is this him? No, he should be a relative of this guy. Maybe he killed him as a relative. Yeah, I'm not ruling that out still. Well, we know that this guy resides here, just in case, right?
Done.
I cannot go down there, right? What is happening here? Hello, performance artist. This man's face has been painted white, a pair of arched eyebrows has been penciled onto his brow, and red powder has been used to make small circles on his cheeks and accentuate his lips. He says something, but you can't hear him. His hands are pressed up against what looks to be an invisible wall. See if you can touch him. You reach out to touch the man, but your hand is stayed by some unseen force. The performance artist appears to be trapped in some sort of invisible box or cage, but he's a mime, maybe.
Done.
We are going up here. I know not where. Surprise. Curiosity. Oh my god, she's blue. Vrishka. Standish. Shelves full of mugs, plates, books, decanters, candle holders, and other bric-a-brac. Most are of strange metals or minerals, and many of the books appear to be bound in flesh. Well, that's something.
Done.
Several very large teas, a dozen smaller ones, lie stacked on a shelf above them. 3 orbs which resemble nothing so much as large colored pearls. They Tremble slightly at your touch and give off a faint warmth. Wow. A massive battle standard. It looks to be made of some scaled creature's hide. Its sight stirs up faint memories. You may not have seen this particular one before, but others like it perhaps. How does it look like? I can't really see very well. A set of unusual forge tools, though their handles look to be made of carved bone. They are heavier than iron. Okay, this place looks interesting now, does it?